facing a bit of a technical. Yes, you are audible. Toastmaster Shafan would be needing screen sharing rights.
All right. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
All right. Apologies, there was a connection issue. Can you come again? What you were saying?
Toastmaster Shafan would be needing screen sharing rights.
All right. All right. You have them, Toastmaster Japan. And okay, shall we start?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So let me try it now.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Can you? Are you able to share, Toastmaster Japan?
Give me a moment. I'm just doing it.
All right. All right. No worries.
Just let me know if you guys could see the PPT title page.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, wonderful. So, would there be any official start of the proceedings by the president?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Everything
Yeah,
will be there.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, Madam President, we need to improvise a little bit. I think I'll take over the timing duties as well. That's easy enough to do. Could you be the evaluator for Toastmaster Amit's speech in addition to your other role?
I can do that.
All right. And all the participants, you're more than welcome to be part of one more new segment. Oh, that will be perfect, Toastmaster Amit. In fact, I'd rather if you take over the language evaluator role rather than the timer, because timer I can do easily. Is that okay? Yeah, thank you so much. That's
Sure.
perfect. And yeah, everyone, we'll have a book review segment. Normally we have a book of the week segment, but this time we have book of the year. So all of you are more than welcome to share your thoughts about one book that influenced you the most during 2023. And Toastmaster Alicia is willing to evaluate Toastmaster Amit. Wow. I think that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'll share with you the evaluation sheet. And as far as the brand new segment that we are preparing to introduce today, it's something so out there that frankly I don't know how it will pan out, but uh, we'll give it a whirl, and hopefully it will turn out. And again, every participant is more than welcome to participate in that. I'm sharing two files in the chat box. The first is our agenda for today, and the second is the evaluation sheet for Toastmaster Amit. Once I'm done, we can start the meeting. Just a second. Let me see, where is the file? Yeah. Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Alicia is writing a speech with the purpose, and I'm just sending you the evaluation sheet. apologies for this delay. So, Toastmaster Alicia, if you can see, this is the evaluation sheet WordWise. It's being uploaded.
Is it just me that's hearing disconnection with Talha?
Take a few moments.
No, it's me as well. He's having some technical issue, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Welcome, Toastmaster Iram.
Hi, Meher. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you.
Toastmaster Talha, you're muted. Toastmaster Talha, you're muted. Toastmaster Talha, am I audible? You're muted.
His screen seems to be frozen.
This usually doesn't happen. I'm a bit surprised why Murphy's Law is going in force.
Oh, apologies. So I'll have to go through the whole spiel again. So, okay, anyhow, welcome to the 25th meeting of WordWise Advanced Toastmasters Club. A few ground rules before we start. The first is that we try to turn on our screens, but we keep our audio muted unless we are asked to speak. Secondly, we don't hold back on clapping and encouragement. The third is that we refrain from talking about three topics: sex, religion, and politics. Of course, if that is in a positive sense, uh, if that is used to bring any individual or group of individuals down or to discriminate against them, please quickly discuss that. And yeah, this meeting will be live streamed to our Facebook account. And if you wish to be recorded, then please let us know in advance and we can send the recording. So let me just set up the it's coming slow today, so apologies for the delays and the dropouts.
I couldn't hear you.
Uh,
Is anybody able to hear him?
No, the connection was breaking. But you get the gist of it. He's playing the
all
role
right.
of
We can
Sergeant
go
at
ahead
Arms.
and we'll take care of the live streaming later. And let's hand over
Yeah.
the charge back to over to our president, Toastmaster Meher. Over to you, Toastmaster Meher.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, who is standing in for Sergeant at Arms. Thank you for welcoming me and all our guests to the first meeting of WordWise Toastmasters Club of the new year. I can see that a lot of our members are still partying, are still having the party hangover from New Year's, and that's fine because we're going to set up the stage for some great performances and deliveries in the future. And we have none other than Toastmaster Shafan with us today, who's going to offer us a very interesting and exciting journey into the world of writing fiction, which is especially interesting for me because I'm also an aspiring writer. And I have also joined in for a course on creative writing. And I'm pretty sure that this odyssey is going to help all of us aspiring writers, content creators, and of course, literature enthusiasts, which this club is dedicated to, in putting the pen to work and bringing the magic forth and overcoming all of our internal obstacles that we face day in, day out. Is it good enough? Is anyone going to read this? Who's my audience going to be? Sorry, I didn't get you. Toastmaster Talha, were you saying something? Right. So, yeah, so this is a very wonderful way to begin the year with our love of books. And we hope that more people will join us as we go along. But of course, this meeting will be shared online, and the contents will be useful to all of our online members as we go along. So without further ado, because we have already touched the time upon which we have to begin our journey with Toastmaster Shafan, I would like to hand over control to our Toastmaster of the day today, distinguished Toastmaster Talha. Although I can see that his screen seems to be a bit frozen. Toastmaster Talha, if you are audible, then you can begin by
Yes.
introducing the meeting segments.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you better.
All right. To everyone's considerable relief, I'll turn off the video to ensure better connection.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So our meeting is divided into very interesting segments. The first segment is the dedication, which you just witnessed, which is the opening presidential address and guest welcome. The whole meeting is designed to read like the chapters of a book. The second is forward, which you're witnessing right now, which is simply the opening address by Toastmaster of the day, meeting themes, segments, and role description. The third is let's word it assignment, and that is the extempore writing segment, and Toastmaster Meher will be assigning the topic for extempore writing. After that, we will have Odyssey, our keynote, plus Q&A from Toastmaster Shafan. That will be followed by episode, which is our name for Pathway Speeches, and today our speaker is Toastmaster Amit Dodani. After that, we will have, we usually have book of the week, but today we will have book of the year. And anyone who is willing to share anything about their book will be asked to share. That will be followed by a brand new segment, Acting the Word. And what that is, our president knows, but I'm not about to disclose it. We will get there. Once we get there, you will know. That will be followed by Let's Word It recital, 3 to 5 minutes each. Those are the pieces of writing that have been crafted by the members, by the attendees for the extempore writing segment. That will be followed by appraisal, which is our journal evaluation, and then epilogue, which is the closing and awards. So today, our role players are myself being the timer, and you need to keep an eye on my timing, my window to monitor the timing of the meeting. The timing for each segment will be announced before the segment. And our language evaluator is Toastmaster Amit Durrani. So Toastmaster Amit, if you have thought of a word of the day, that would be perfect. Otherwise, describe your own.
Thank you very much, Titi and Tala. So the word of the day for today is trite. T-R-I-T-E, trite, meaning unoriginal and lacking in importance. Now, an example sentence could be, I did not finish the novel because the story's plot was trite and uninspiring. I'll post the word in the chat. Back to you, Titi and Tala.
Thank you so much. And what will you do as language evaluator?
Of course. Yes, as a language evaluator, I would note all the good usage of the language and not so good usage, and also I will track the filler words and the crutch words or extra long pauses that somebody might take, barring my own. So all the best to you all. Back to you, Riti and Tala.
Thank you so much. And knowing you and having seen you perform this role in the past, I think you will be doubly hard on yourself. You managed to evaluate yourself as well. That said, and for timing, you need to keep an eye on the window. For our keynote speech, we have assigned a 30-minute slot. That does not mean it has to extend to 30 minutes, just to give us a bit of headroom. The keynote is followed by Q&A, and both keynote and Q&A will be completed within a 30-minute slot. The episodes is, of course, 5 to 7 minutes speech and 2 to 3 minutes evaluation. Book of the year is 3 to 5 minutes each, and it depends upon the number of people who would like to present about their book of the year. Acting the word has been tentatively assigned a slot of 10 minutes, but it can go up to 15 or 20 minutes as well. That will be followed by Let's Word It recital. And again, the recital will be 3 to 5 minutes each. And after that, the usual journal evaluation and FAQ. So without further ado, today's theme is opening gambits. And what is an opening gambit? An opening gambit is something that grabs your attention. Many times we've read pieces of fiction or witnessed art, for example, movies or TV shows. If you ever noticed, today, especially in this day and age, there is 10 times the compulsion to actually grab the audience's attention within the first 30 seconds. Why is that? Because people have lost patience. It is the usual lament about Generation Z and young people not having time or not willing to invest time and effort towards anything. But whatever the cause is, we have all lost attention spans, even you and I. We cannot concentrate on our tasks, on our works, like we used to be able to do maybe 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And that is because we are so distracted and we are so willing to be distracted. And that's why, whether we or a TV show, instead of having a title or credits, usually it has a scene directly. It opens into a space which is designed to intrigue the audience and to keep them hooked. Take any TV show, any sitcom. It will open with a cold open and then be followed with a title sequence. So that is not so, of course, with Toastmasters meeting because they follow a very structured approach. But you can also do that with your speeches. If you think about it, your speech does not have to start with a typical opening and then middle and an end. You can take some pieces from the middle and use them for the open. If you witness our last international speech contest, you would have witnessed that many of the speakers use, which is the Let's Word It assignment. So over to you, Toastmaster Meher, for your Let's Word It assignment.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Today's topic of the day is a quote by the great Oscar Wilde. And he had something special to say about traveling. And what he said was that travel improves the mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudices. Travel improves the mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudices. So I'm sure that last year we must all have traveled to some destination other than our home city. And perhaps we learned a lesson there. Perhaps we met new people there. Perhaps we made a new friend there. Maybe a friend who's going to continue with us on our journey in our lifetime to the end. So, what were these lessons and what was this beautiful adventure that we embarked on? We would like to hear from you. Describe the sounds, the scenes, the what, where, whys, and hows of where you went, the characters, the food you ate, and maybe the clothes you wore. How did you plan the trip? So did something funny happen on this trip? Did you go with your family? Or was it a romantic rendezvous with your significant other? Was it something mysterious? Was it something unexpected? Was it a culture clash that you faced? Something interesting that you brought back from your travels, from your journeys. So be the Vasco da Gama and the Marco Polo of our meeting today, and please share with us what you learned. How many of us are going to talk about our travels today? I, for one, would definitely want to. Who's going to join me? Okay, great. Toastmaster Amit. Who else? Toastmaster Khubeb, would you like to give it a shot?
Yes, I can try for sure.
Of course, wonderful. Toastmaster Iram?
No, I
Yes.
think you guys can try. I can listen.
It's not as hard as it seems. It's just table topics, but you have time.
Yeah.
This is like an amalgamation of table topics and prepared speeches. So it's like a semi-prepared speech. We've given you the topic. You have till the end of the meeting to think of something.
Yes.
Maybe you travel to okay, we can even make this flexible. Maybe you travel to a friend's home, or maybe you travel to a family member's home, and maybe something happened there that was funny or that lightened up your day. Or maybe if you sit and think and have a cup of tea and you think about it and you think, oh, that was a wonderful afternoon, even that would be lovely to hear. But we just want to hear from you. Have a go. What do you say? It's all about creative writing today. Welcome, Toastmaster Munish. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, welcome. And where are you joining in from?
I'm from India, and I live in Punjab, India.
Wonderful. And are you a member of Toastmasters, or are you a guest with us today?
I'm a Toastmaster and I'm from different club,
What's the name of your club?
Central Noida.
Central Noida.
Central
Very well. I see. Very welcome. Welcome to our meeting. So would you like to join in and share your travels? We would love to hear from you, since so many of us are from different countries. I mean, Toastmaster Shafan is joining in from Qatar, if I'm not wrong, and Toastmaster Amit is also joining in from India. He's from
India.
Toastmaster Amit, you're in
I'm
Gurgaon
from
right now?
Mumbai.
Mumbai, sorry, yes.
Mumbai.
Sorry, Gurgaon is the name of your Toastmasters club, right?
Yeah, it's Goregaon, which is similar sounding.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Goregaon. I'm still learning. You see, we have so much to
Yeah,
learn from each
it's
other.
confusing. Yeah.
All right. So wonderful. So we have, okay, my good self. Then we have Toastmaster Amit. Then we have Toastmaster Munish. Toastmaster Talha. I'm also pulling you in here. And
You are
Toastmaster.
okay.
Well, if
Uh,
you're uncomfortable, I won't. But I don't know.
yeah, since I have to do the timing as well, so I'd rather not.
All right. Okay. Believe you out today.
Although
Toastmaster
I was
Taib.
itching to do it, but all right.
Since you're itching to do it, please, you're most welcome. आप extempore दे दीजिएगा.
Okay,
Extempore.
for that you'll have to repeat the topic.
The topic is, I will write this in the chat. Toastmaster Shafan, will you be joining us till the end?
Apologies.
Would you like to join in as well?
I will try how far I can
Yeah, sure.
resist my temptation to go home because my office was already finished around 2:30 to 3 o'clock. So I kept
Right.
waited.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, I'll try. I don't promise, but yeah.
okay, we are very grateful to you for joining us today, truly. All right, so I won't take up any more time. I have written the topic in the chat box, and I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's responses. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
all right. Thank you so much, Madam Curator of Let's Word It. And without further ado, let's move on to our keynote of the day, which is from Toastmaster Shafan Hassan. Toastmaster Shafan is, just give me a second. He's an economist by education. He's worked for 15 years in the energy sector, these days in the shipping industry, loves literature and poetry, passionate about hiking, music, and traveling. Being glossophobic is a reason to be at Toastmasters. So again, that last line would be very hard for me to believe personally, seeing your credentials and your enthusiasm. But Toastmaster Shafan looks just like the kind of person that would be joining and excelling at WordWise Toastmasters. So Toastmaster Shafan, for your keynote, we are assigning 15 to 20 minutes.
All right.
All right. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Japan. Why should you read fiction? Why should Master Shafan? Do you have your video on? Can you turn on your video,
Yeah,
Toastmaster?
it's taking a second. Yeah, I have already.
All right, no worries. Okay, and can you
Okay.
see my window? Can you see my window for timing purposes?
Yeah. Yes.
All right,
I can.
So there you go. So
So
everyone, Toastmaster Japan, why should you read fiction? Why should you read fiction, Toastmaster?
yeah, thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Talha bin Mahmood, or if I am mispronouncing your name, Talha bin Hamid, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know how come that I have entered into this meeting as a keynote speaker. Trust me, I am just a learner. I have no capacity to deliver a keynote speech kind of thing. I'm just like you guys. I'm a beginner. I'm a Toastmaster, and that is what I am. So why I proposed this topic was just the just passion that I have been carrying since my childhood, and probably the starting point was I cannot even recall how old I was when I actually started reading certain books. But since the topic was really near to my heart, so when I was contacted by the fellow colleagues, I was compelled to propose this topic. So um, thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. It's been 2.5 months since I had attended any of the meeting of the Toastmasters when I was in Pakistan. So I am still struggling to find a club here in Qatar to join and to continue my journey where I left it. So yeah, straight away to the point. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, in your opinion, why everybody should read fiction, or what do you guys think is the fiction? Yeah, please go ahead.
I think it's the imagination of the mind. It helps you imagine broadly.
Yeah. Any idea? Any other idea from the fellow colleagues?
It improves our
Please go ahead.
creativity. It improves our creativity and our capacity to think beyond our horizon, our normal life.
That's correct. That's correct. So with these inputs, let's go forward and see if you could see on the screens that what are the perceptions. Can you see that what are the perceptions? People say that fiction is based on lies. It is fabrication. It's untrue. It's nonsense. At least I have heard that. It's fantasy. It's fake. So you must have heard all these arguments against fiction. Okay, let's go by a book. Somewhere I read the definition that fiction is any creative work, primarily in narration, portraying different characters, events, places, or imaginations, right? Moving forward, then the question is if the books are the only kind of fiction that should be treated as fiction, or dramas, movies, cartoons, etc., these are also part of fiction. At least I believe these are fiction too. So the $1,000,000 question is, what are the fiction about the fiction? So they say that it's a women thing. In Pakistan, at least I can name few, monthly digests, for example, Shua, Khatin, Suspense. They are related that this is a hobby which is, loved by the women at the most, right? However, the stories are never gender specific. This is a fact. Fiction thing is that it's a waste of time. I mean, I can remember that I used to have an uncle who would always scold me on carrying those books which are not part of my curriculum. So he would always say, it's a waste of time. But the fact says it is an imagination booster. Then there are people who say that fiction is never liked. But you know, human beings always want to be surprised. After thirst, after hunger, the third most needed thing by a human being is either he should be telling a story or he should be listening a story. Then they say fiction is a lie. But on the contrary, have you ever heard that no reality is whole truth and no fiction is whole lie? It can't be possible. I mean, you have to disassociate certain real life characters from the novel or from the fiction story by giving them a different name. Then there are people who say that it is a way to escape from life. But on the contrary, fiction is believed to increase the observation canvas. Let me tell you some example from the history that where first there were fiction work, but they all led to the, some kind of innovation in the later part of that particular century. For example, Star Trek, everybody have heard about it. So there was a novel in 1966 with the name Wireless Communication. And then the cell phone was invented by 1975. I'm not saying that there was any positive correlation between these two things, but see what human mind can imagine could be a reality in some time. Then there was a novel by a French writer with the name Journey to the Center of the Earth in 1864. And to all of our surprise, the submarine invention by Simon Lake, a US Navy person in 1894, there was only 30 years difference in that big invention, right? So see how much power that was actually generated by those fiction piece of, books back then. And then another very relevant and very gigantic example. There was a book with the name Around the Moon. It was somewhere in 1870. And after exactly 100 years from the publication of that book, man landed on the moon. See? So yeah, this is some significance and importance of what miracles fiction can do. Let me tell you quickly some of the example from global context. There are some areas where kids are asked to read stories, novels to expand their mind. Like Manish probably said this, that it can, give a broader horizon. Fiction finishes all kinds of boundary in human mind thinking, right? There is a research that was conducted by St. Louis University, and then they did a scan of the brain of those people who were habitual readers and who were very fond of reading different story. So when the scan was actually read through and it was analyzed, they realized that those guys who were reading different stories, they could see in their mind on the scans that they perceived those situations, scenes that were written in those books. So see the power of imagination that is coming just by reading those kind of books. Then there is another research by the same on the similar topic by another university. But let me tell you a very astonishing thing, that in South America there is a week which is celebrated as Digital Detox Week. In that particular week, no member of the family would watch TV. They wouldn't use any electronic devices, and they will together read different books. So there is some reason why this kind of event is celebrated in that part of the world. So now the question is that how fiction is actually related with the Toastmaster. You know, I would like to throw this idea to you guys. Why do you think that fiction could be really relevant to this club or any other club in the Toastmaster fraternity? I would like to have a couple of views.
It's useful to learn storytelling techniques, how to build
Thank you
tension.
very much. Yeah, please. Yeah,
The
I
more,
saw.
yes, the more we read, sorry, there's an echo. The more we read, the better we write.
Yeah, excellent. Great. Can I get one more idea?
Okay, it helps to craft your speeches. It has been helping me because I've been reading a lot of fictions. And beside, I've never in dearth of ideas while picking up a topic. Most often people say, what do I speak on? I never had that question in my journey of Toastmasters.
Excellent. That's a great idea. So thank you very much for your valuable input. So let me tell you my experience when I was first appeared on the stage of Toastmaster. So although I had been a glossophobic person all around my life, but when I first appeared on the stage and I was given a table topic, you know, you cannot imagine that I could build the story quite instantly in my mind, but only part which was left was that I could not utter those beautiful words that form a good 2.5 minute speech. So Toastmaster is all about storytelling, whether it's a 2 minute time, whether it's 5 to 7 minute speech, whether it's your icebreaker, whether there is a tall tale contest, you name you name any activity at the Toastmaster, it comprises of a storytelling, experience. So this is the reason why I understand that storytelling is, really relevant to the Toastmaster. But to be a successful Toastmaster, I'm no one to actually, claim this, but I have recently learned that an effective storyteller could be a great Toastmaster. So what I have been able to learn is that every good story has three parts. It has a situation, it has a challenge, and it has an outcome. While describing a situation, you need to tell the character, what has happened, where has happened. While describing the challenge, you need to tell the obstacle, you need to tell the correction that were taken to remove that obstacle, the conflict, the challenges that were keep coming. Then you need to discuss the outcome. What was the resolution? What was the consequence? How did the situation transform? So if we try to, hinge around these three structural things of a storytelling, trust me, I have learned to apply these three kind of principles on, telling stories, and it gave me a lot of success. So this is, if you want to really ask me what is the takeaway of today's, this kind of, pulled together quick presentation, I would say this is the takeaway. So let me apply this to the, real life situation. Who I, Shafan Hassan, being glossophobic, had this problem to appear in front of the people. So that is part of my situation in the story. The challenge was I would always have the anxiety to speak in front of the people in the presentation, during my school time on the stage. Whenever there was an opportunity to speak with the people, I would feel like my heart is coming out of my chest, my palms were full of sweat, and I would feel that there is no oxygen in this world. So what I did, I joined Toastmaster. This was the correction I took, right? And as a next step, I was struggling. These were the conflict that were appearing while I was doing different thing at Toastmaster. But resolution was that I need to overcome this problem somehow by keep coming, showing up in every meeting, no matter what I do, whether I get embarrassed or not, I need to keep coming. So that's what I did. That was my resolution. I stayed firm. And soon I started witnessing that there are some outcomes which are positive. Those all outcomes encouraged me to be there. And at the end of some time, whenever I was given some topic, no matter whether I spoke good or bad, at least I was able to utter few words out of my mouth. So, in this context, if storytelling structure, different elements of it are, applied in different situations that happen in Toastmaster, I think we can do wonders. So the other new thing that I learned over the year, especially in last year, that is coming from Stanford. There was that great teacher of storytelling who steered us to develop how these stories could be really effective. So as per her, a good story is always that story in which people could feel themselves, right? There should be really some personal characters to relate with, right? So, and sometimes even if everybody has to say a lot about their experiences in life, and you never need to be, embarrassed about putting yourself in a vulnerable situation that people would hear you, right? So always dare to present yourself in the story. If there is some example, that story would, touch the heart of the people. You need to be really specific. Sometimes people tend to include some emotions in the story. That kind of stories, usually do not last long and cannot create a very long-term effect. So we have to be really specific about our storytelling. There should be crest and trough in the story. There should be some ups and downs in the story so that the audience listening to you, they should feel engaged. If there is a monotonous line of the story, people would lose interest. And at the end of any speech, we or any speaker, they always tend to seek some action from the audience. So if there is a monotonous story and there is no variation in it, there are no highs, no lows, then we cannot expect that people whoever is listening us, they will take any action. So there has to be a variation. And then at the end of a story, there should be some message that you want people to do for you. A good story always leaves an impression behind it, and that impression is basically a call for action from the people. So these are one of the fine storytelling tips that I have learned last year from my teacher, and I find it really relevant to share it at that particular forum. So another takeaway is that read fiction is one of the most important element to read people. Being a leader, one of the finest quality of leadership is to have some empathy, and empathy can only come into you if you read fiction and you can put yourself into others shoe, right? And this is one of the most important habit we need to develop in ourselves as a leader. So quickly, I don't know how much time I am left with. I would like to speak for 2 minutes on one more thing. Talha, can you please tell
Yes,
me?
you have time. You have time. Yeah, you have time.
Okay. Thank you very much. So yeah, another takeaway that I was saying is we must read fiction in 2 words, in words of I don't know, Manish, I guess, he said that fiction fuels imagination and creativity. What else you need? I mean, people are hungry for ideas that we don't get any ideas. We are empty of any ideas. So if you need ideas about anything in life, so start reading fiction and you'll get, hundreds of ideas. So this is the second takeaway I want my fellow colleagues to take. Coming on why I was able to conclude or write a book. Trust me, this is nothing that is really something to be taken some pride on. You know, I came here in Qatar in November. I had different short stories written on my computer, and that those were lying there for I don't know how many years. And I was waiting for my family to join me, which has uh, I I don't know how much time it is going to take. So in that particular time, I thought of this idea: why not I can do this effort, that whichever I have written over the time of last 7-8 years, let's try to publish it. And when I tried to publish it on Kindle, Amazon, there was no option of Urdu language. So there was the challenge. So I had time, right? And there were stories, which I call the arsenal for a book. So I converted somehow all those my Urdu short stories into English. And over the time of those 2 months, I was able to put together all those 7 stories in form of this book that went live on January 5th. In writing those stories in the form of a book, I think it was a similar experience when I first joined Toastmaster Club. I had this feeling that when I would stand on the stage, I don't know how people are going to look at me. I was, feeling shy. I was with the same feeling that I don't know how would people react. But I somewhat overcome my, these kind of mixed feeling which were distracting me from publishing this book. And I try to maintain that determination that I need to publish this somehow, no matter what difficulty I'll face, but I need to persist with my goal and I will get it published. So it was on 5th January that I was able to publish this. I had in my mind that I'll make a list of those beautiful books I have read throughout my life, but because of because of being Sunday, which is the first working day here in Qatar, I couldn't pull together that list. But sometime later, I'll definitely share those books that have left some, marks on my mind and my thoughts. And I sincerely think that those would be really, really valuable. So with this, I would conclude whatever I had to say on this prestigious forum with these amazing colleagues from different part of the world. And thank you very much for bearing me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Japan. That was so enlightening. And what's amazing is how you spoke so simply and so sincerely. And I, for one, caught on to every word that you said. It was so easy to understand and relate to. So the floor is open for a 5 to 10 minute question and answer session. And I'll take undue advantage of being Toastmaster of the day and the Zoom host and start with the question myself. So
Okay.
my question to you is, uh, myself included, we have so many manuscripts and pieces of writing lying around, and perhaps some of them can even be turned into great books and articles, but somehow we feel fearful and we don't take that plunge. So how did you take that plunge? What made you cross the line?
Like I said, I would simply say that, for me, the difficulty was that my whole pieces were in Urdu, and I had to get them translated in English first. So that was my first obstacle. So had I been in Pakistan, I would have got it published anyway, right? So the good thing what happened here was that I would be really dead honest, I got a freelancing support I hunt a person who could translate my stories, for me, and he did the translation, and I did the proofreading. So that's how it went. But to tell you truth, the first step is always difficult. Whenever you determine that you need to do something, there are too many voices coming. I don't know, from top, from under the earth, from right, from left. I don't know what is the source of those voices. Most likely all are from your heart and mind. So you just need to snub them and just do it, no matter whether it's a success or not. But deep inside you have a feeling that you have done something. This is your legacy. Whether not a single copy is sold or not, that is none of my business. But there should be a legacy that, okay, and along with your kids, there is something that is your heredity. Yeah, so this was my thought process.
Wow, that's beautiful, and congratulations on taking that courageous step. We are all so proud of being in the company of a published author.
Yeah.
And just as an aside, to get the book on the platforms as well, because Amazon does not work that well in Pakistan. So maybe some other ebooks platform, if your book comes on those, we can also partake of it. So yes, over to you, Toastmaster Meher, for your question.
Yes, sorry, I'm having some technical problem today. Yes, my question, Toastmaster Shafan, was how did you like the process of getting published? Because published online, I hope you can hear me. Yeah, so the process of getting published, because and then you've done it online, like was that easy to find a publisher? And then will your like, is your book just coming in an ebook format, or is it like because I haven't seen the link yet, but is it like in different formats, like we can actually buy the maybe the hard copy or the soft copy? Like what was that process like?
To your surprise, I think it's a very good question. To your surprise and to everybody's surprise, if you have got a manuscript in your hard drive, just take it on your desktop and start with an automated process that is available on Kindle. It asks you to fill the certain fields, right? And then it asks you to upload it. There are designated fields. If you have got this manuscript ready, it is just a matter of maybe 30 minutes. So the publication is not a big deal. I mean, if everything is ready. So it is just like we are living in this age of artificial intelligence and internet. There are fast moving processes that enable the book publishing very, very easy. So publishing is not a big deal. That is probably half part of your question. So coming to the next point, Kindle gives you an option that once you publish your ebook, then it gives you an option to go for the hardcover, publication of the book. You need to just select it, you need to design it, you need to make some changes, and then Amazon takes over the whole responsibility of getting it published. So again, very easy process, very easy process. I didn't learn it from anywhere. I made some mistakes while I was doing that process. And believe you me, Toastmaster Meher, it was such an easy process that all of us can do that. All of us can quite easily do that. You do not need any assistance from anybody.
Yes, that's true. I also signed up for that e-publishing thing, and I started gathering the material also, but couldn't venture beyond that part. But one thing I can second, it is so easy. Most of it is automated, and you don't need any special skills to actually get the book published on Amazon. Toastmaster Manoj.
I would like to know, could you please mention a few books that has left deep impact in your life?
Sir, thank you very much for this wonderful question. I must acknowledge that this is one of the the most favorite question that I would always love to speak on. There are quite a few books, and surprisingly, all belong to the fiction, part of the books. I like My Name is Red from a Turkish writer, Orhan Pamuk. Then I like Blindness. Then I like 100 Years of Solitude. Then I like
Likewise.
Godfather. Yeah. Mario Puzo, like Godfather. Then one book that actually gave me a kickstart to just divert my attention towards the English literature, I would say Alchemist from Paulo Coelho. And then I read all those books. So these are 3 to 4 books which have left quite a lot in my mind and on my emotions. But if you ask me one particular book that basically compelled me to delve in the ocean of this fiction, that I would say War and Peace from Leo Tolstoy. That is probably one of the finest piece of literature in this whole world. So hard to grasp, so many characters. You need to probably keep a diary or something like that to just note down the characters, because those names sound so similar in Russian names. So they just jump in as you progress towards the end of the book, and you just forget that who was who and what was what. So yeah, so this War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy is my all-time favorite book. Yeah, so there are many.
Thank
I
you
can
so
share
much.
the list. Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for asking this question.
Thank you so much, and kudos to you for one particular thing, Shafan, for mentioning the Urdu digest, Khawateen digest, Shua, and Suspense. Yeah, some excellent pieces of fiction. Wisdom is not gender specific, and stupidity is also not gender specific. And those digests are given very short shrift because they have contributed enormously to our national culture, and they've created writers as well. So you can find sometimes surprisingly amazing pieces of fiction in a very lowly digest. So kudos to you. That really shows that perhaps like me, you will read, and congratulations on that. My personal kudos to you on that, because we are so fond of looking down on certain things and glorifying certain other things in a matter of appearing learned and wise and cool. And unfortunately, our Urdu literature has been mercilessly segregated. Uh, only a certain kind of writing with a certain mindset, those people are considered writers, and everything else is not considered writing. Even children's writers are not considered writers in Urdu literature. So that is so unfair. Anyhow, thank you so much. So do we have any other questions?
If no one has a question, I did have a curiosity.
If not, we'll move on to our next segment. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask who designed the cover, because the cover is really beautiful. No way. Are you
Yeah,
a
I did it. I did. No, I'm not. I mean, like I said, Toastmaster Meher, it is so damn easy stuff that you only have to spend some time, on your laptop, and then I don't know. I mean, somehow I have started to believing on things that probably Paulo Coelho wrote in his book, that when you decide to do something, the whole universe starts to conspire for that goal or something like that. So I did it on Canva. And to your surprise, Kindle gives you this option as well. So you don't have to do anything. So it is quite easy. Yeah, I did it.
That's an amazing cover. Seriously, I'm speechless seeing that. It
Sorry,
appears, yeah.
yeah, sorry, Toastmaster Munish had his hand up. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I have this small question that firstly it was an excellent session, and my question is that you mentioned about empathy, that you can build empathy by reading fiction. So is that empathy in a sense that you go under the feelings of the character and you understand those feelings? Because I was thinking that you can learn more empathy by reading non-fiction, because I am non-fiction reader, and I think that empathy, you can learn empathy from there. But today, as you mentioned, so in what sense, like, we can build empathy by fiction?
Thank you very much. This is really challenging question to me. I mean, I must admit that this is a challenging question, but I would try to answer it from my perspective, that what I was able to actually grasp from all those readings. Um, one of the most beautiful aspect of a good story is that it indulges you in within that, story situation. And if you find a character who is going through that situation, which appears to be common to our life, right, then you start to feel yourself associated with the character. And as the story progresses, there are certain emotions that are developed in your mind, that okay, now this has happened to the person in the story, and as the story moves, there could be two or three possibilities, right? Either, for example, if somebody has lost his job, right, and he's struggling, he's going through very emotional state of mind, right, and you are the same kind of person who is doing a job, right? So as the story progresses, you see that, oh my god, he has to pay the bill, he has to pay the utilities, right, he has to nurture his kids, he has to take care of his parents. But after 2 or 3 months, he is flushed away with all the funds he has, right? As you reach to that point, you start to develop some sense that automatically, that if this would happen to me, what I would do, right? And you start developing a connection with the character, right? And as the connection is developed and the story progresses, then you start to associate that how many outcome of the situation could there be. Either he will get a job in 3 months time, either he'll start a business, he'll get some success. And you start doing some probabilities in your mind, and as the story progresses, right, to your utter surprise, none of the options that you think would happen actually happens. There is something else that happens in the story, right? So because of these variation release of some chemicals in your brain, because of the human needs of storytelling are to be told, certain chemical reaction actually happen in your mind. And then your mind work on a lot of possibilities and probabilities. So this is how actually a connection is established, and you put yourself in others shoes, in my humble opinion. And that's what I have learned.
That's beautiful, Toastmaster Stefan. And I'll go out on a limb here and be a little greedy. And I would like to invite you for another keynote sometime in the future to take us through the process of how you got yourself published, because I believe that will prove to be a great motivator for our members, specifically WordWise members. Would you be willing to do that, sir, for us?
I would try. I mean, but before that, my request would be never ever associate any kind of my presentation with a word keynote, because I found myself a common man like you guys, right? So I've, I'm being really, really humble.
Yeah.
But
Don't
my
worry.
request is that let it be a
Okay,
session for discussion of
we keep the title Odyssey and remove the word keynote. Is that okay now?
yeah, that's perfectly fine.
But that's
So
the
if there
Toastmaster
are no
spirit.
other
Anybody
questions,
can be, yeah.
yeah, if there are no other questions, I would just like to share with you why any of you should not think that they can't be, writers, given that they have got some inclination toward reading books. There is a famous book from a Pakistani ex-bureaucrat and one of the finest narrator of the stories. Mukhtar Masood is his name. He was an ex-bureaucrat. He wrote somewhere in his book that whatever, I mean, if you for a second think that writing a book is just a piece of art or a field of art, so he wrote, I'll try to say it in Urdu, and most of our fellow Toastmaster would really grasp it just for the sense of what he said. He said कि तौफीक अगर लिखने की मिल जाए, अगर तौफीक लिखने की मिल जाए तो उस पे आमीन कह देना चाहिए, उसको वेलकम कर लेना चाहिए, बिकॉज अगर वो मोमेंट्स गुजर जाएं तो फिर आप लिख नहीं सकते, then you can't do it. So whenever you feel like that you can write, just say yes to that voice. Just say yes to that voice and try to sit down and, just inculcate whatever you have got to be published as a book and just do it. So with these words, I would beg your permission to finish whatever I have to say. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shaban. And thank you for not only this absolutely phenomenal session of knowledge sharing, I'm not calling it a keynote, but also agreeing to come to us again. It was a tremendous motivator personally for me, I'm sure, for everyone who attended this. Thank you so much once again. We are more than 20 minutes behind schedule, although somehow I don't regret it because what we experienced during the session and the day was beyond valuable. Thank you so much. But we'll quickly move on to the prepared speeches session. And I would ask Toastmaster Asghar, are you willing to evaluate a speech? Because we had an appointed evaluator, but she had to log out.
I'm steady. I'll be with you this session, but it's entirely dependent on the connectivity issues. So far, so
No
good.
worries.
But
yeah, no worries. You can take the plea of bad connection because all of us are experiencing bad connection today. So, so that's common ground. I've shared the.
Yes, go ahead.
So I've shared the evaluation sheet with you. You can have a look at it. And in the meanwhile, let me announce the project and get things started. So today, our prepared speaker is Toastmaster Amit Dodani, and he's doing his project, writing a speech with a purpose. The purpose of the project is to learn to review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Remember, completing this project is working to write a speech with purpose. The speech they create must be well written and clearly focused. Their goal is to meet their express purpose statement with a well-executed speech. Before starting the speech, Toastmaster Amit, first of all, can you see my window for timing purposes?
Yes, I can.
And would you like to state the purpose of your speech?
Purpose is to inspire the audience.
Purpose is to inspire the audience. So I hope our evaluator is standing by. And because
despite the fact that it's difficult to inspire me.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, we all know that.
I think we should do a vote then at the end of the speech. Otherwise, I'm not going to succeed in the objective.
All right. So everyone, please put the duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Amit Dodani. The two bosses, Toastmaster Amit Dodani.
The year was 2009, and I was getting married. I was very happy, and everybody around me was as well. But there was something lingering in my mind. I had some kind of dissatisfaction, not with the marriage, but there was something else. You see, I used to work in the insurance sector. in an American company, high paying job, high position, a lot of stability. But that's not where my heart was. I was always into sports. I used to love sports. And I always had this desire to get into the field of sports, firstly as a sportsman, which I couldn't, then as a sports administrator, which also I wasn't able to till then. So I applied to a university outside of India. And as fate would have it, I got admission in that university. And this university was in the UK. That time sports was not very big in India. Remember, this was 2009. The dilemma was that I am getting married and I have an offer from a university to go there and study for 2 years. What does one do? What would you do? The question was, should I get married and leave my beautiful wife here in India and go to the UK for 2 years, leave my job and be uncertain of the future? Because my intention was to change the industry from insurance to sports. Now the person who was most worried was not me, nor my wife, but it was my mother-in-law. She said, Amit, I am giving you my daughter's hand in your hand and you are deciding to leave her here and go out of India. Even my family was worried. Not because I was going out of India, but because I was leaving an established career where perhaps I could have grown to become the head of the organization and entering into something unknown. What did I do? I surrendered. I succumbed to external pressure and internal fear. And I decided to stay back in India. Now, part of me was happy, but the other part was slightly discontent. Anyways, time went by. Few years down the line, the year was 2015. Similar situation. But this time, of course, I was still continuing in the same job. This time, I had an opportunity to start my own business. I hated jobs. I'm sorry for people who are working here as employees, but personally, I am not the one who can really be in an employment. So I wanted to get out of it desperately. And again, I had that opportunity of starting my own business. Same questions, uncertainty, instability, and the risk of failure. Same people were my advisors again. My family, my in-laws, my wife, and my inside voice. But this time, I did not listen to my head. I listened to my heart. And I quit the job. I quit the job 5-6 years into my marriage with total uncertainty of whether I would generate that much income that I had, whether I would be able to provide for my family or not. But then, because I trusted in the destiny rewarded me. And after a few years, my business succeeded and I was able to sell that business. And today, I continue to be an entrepreneur and I am kind of a free man. I don't really need to be in a job anymore. Now the thing here is, my dear friends, we all face with this dilemma, whether we listen to the head or we listen to the heart. In the first instance, I listened to my head. And somewhere in my heart, I still have a little bit of dissatisfaction. In the second instance, I listened to my heart, but my head reconciled with that thought. Now, if you also face this situation ever, I would like to suggest that it's the heart which is difficult to convince. So if you are ever faced with a dilemma like this, follow your heart. And the decisions that we take need to be taken from the heart. And the brain, the head, the job of the head or the brain is to find a way to help you achieve what your heart wants to achieve. But if you take decisions from your head, your heart will never allow you to accept that decision. Or at least for a very long time, it might not allow you. So if you're ever faced with a question like this, and it has worked for me, I take decisions with my heart and then instruct my head to give me a solution and to reach that goal. And the good news is that after so many years, 2009 to 2024 is 15 years if my maths is correct. After so many years, at this age, would you believe it? My heart has still not agreed. And as we speak, I haven't applied rather, I am applying currently to a university in the UK to do a sports management course. And God willing, this time my mother-in-law would agree with me and I would be able to take this step. So that's my message to you, my dear friends. Always take decision with your heart and let your head find a way out. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you so much. And I'm kind of speechless right now. It was such a beautiful presentation. But thankfully, I was snapped out of my stupor thanks to the mention of mother-in-law. I'm sure Toastmaster Asghar would love to expand on that during his evaluation. So, Toastmaster Asghar, let me know, would you like to evaluate right now, or shall we wait for the general evaluation session? Whatever makes you comfortable.
Organize my thoughts just a couple of minutes because I'm sitting in a very uncomfortable position. So I just need few seconds because I'm
Sure.
constantly changing my places in order to get.
All right. No worries at all. And yes, we'll have your evaluation during the GE session. Moving on to the next session, and we need to move quickly. Book of the year. So I would like volunteers, perhaps two only, and anyone can volunteer to talk about some book that inspired them during 2023. So the first two hands raised will get the slot.
Okay, I believe that the distinguished Toastmasters, Talha's screen has frozen. Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Manoj. Anyone else who would like to volunteer? Toastmaster Talha, I think, yeah, he's disconnected. Okay, we can just give him a minute to come back. Toastmaster Iram, would you like to join in this segment?
All right, apologies, I got disconnected. We have a hand raised. So, did I miss anything?
No, just Toastmaster Manoj. He has kindly
All right.
volunteered.
So we have hand raised from Toastmaster Manoj Kumar. So Toastmaster Manoj, the stage is yours. You've got 3 to 5 minutes.
Today we are discussing about books writing, whether it is fiction, non-fiction. It's always reflection. A book is a reflection of the society. Because whoever writes, it's a part of the society. And when he writes about anything, it also echoes with people. Because ultimately, our life is quite similar. It's a journey from birth to death. And the kind of struggles that we undergo, that also quite similar, though we attempt it differently. And today I'm going to talk about that book, Siddharth. It's written by a German writer, Hermann Hesse. He's a Nobel laureate. And this book was written in between the world wars, First World War and the Second World War. And Siddharth, interestingly, is the name of Gautam Buddha. As a prince, his name was Siddharth, or Gautam, he used to be called Gautam. And when he got enlightenment, then he started to be known as Buddha. And this is not a very, very voluminous book, about 120 odd pages. In that 120 odd pages, he encompasses the whole concept of life. It's a story of Govinda and his friend Siddharth. Siddharth and Govinda. Siddharth is the son of a Brahmin. Like in India, we have got different castes. The highest caste is considered as a Brahmin caste. So he's son of a Brahmin, and he suddenly, as he gains his teenage around the age of 14, 15, he asked his father, Father, I want to go in search of life's meaning. Father was not willing to let him go. Then, without taking any food, he stands in his house in front of the father's room till he's given permission. So finally, the father decides to allow his teenage son to go and find the purpose of his life. So Siddhartha, along with his friend Govinda, they enter the forest looking for seers, looking for other great people, realized people who can teach them. And they come to a kind of place where that a lot of people were studying to understand what life is. And they learn different techniques. And Siddhartha was doing well, better than all other disciples over there. Govinda once told him, remarked, Siddhartha, you have been very nice. You can lift yourself up from the ground. You have learned that technique. Siddhartha goes on to say, any cartman in the evening, once he goes and have his drink, he also starts flying high up in the sky. So there is no difference between me and that hardworking person who does that. He was not that satisfied with all this kind of antics that he learned. He enters the society again, back to human society. He meets a courtesan and they get married. He wanted to learn what life's principles are. They come together, they had a child. Again, after some time, he leaves and goes away. And finally, the novel ends where you find Siddhartha in a hut next to a river. Govinda also moving around, both of them meet. Seated by the side of the river, Siddhartha says, look at this river which flows on. Life is this, it flows on, and the impressions it leaves behind. So, what is human life? It's a journey from birth to death. And what we take away is the experience that we get to. If we can accept everything, we excel. So, the main crux of the novel is accept life as it comes, excel. Thank you. Over to you.
Uh, Thank you so much. So there was severe audio problems at my end, but towards the end they improved. So Toastmaster Meher, are we going ahead? Is this the recital or is this the book review?
If we have no one else to give the book review, then we can go ahead with the recital.
All right, all right. Yeah, so but before recital, we have another segment. So yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Toastmaster Manoj, for that beautiful, beautiful presentation. And the reason I was confused is because the last few sentences I heard, they were so passionately and beautifully said. Oh, why would that be, Toastmaster Meher? Why are you saying that?
Because it seems like the Terminator 2 has come back.
Oh, all right.
Your voice quality is like, yeah, the real
Yeah.
DTM has emerged.
Oh, so sad. Like my secret is out. Anyhow, so this segment is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be one version of the interpretive reading segment. And to the best of my knowledge, nothing like this has ever been attempted, and that's all the more reason to do it. So I put before you one of the one scene from the sitcom Mercury. And what we will do is, yeah, yeah, Toastmaster Bear. You heard that, right? So um, we will all, there are 6 different characters, and we'll all assume one character and just do a table read, because every time a movie or a TV show is shot, they do a table reading before. All the characters, they read the script and everything else ironed out. And this gives them a first will happen during an episode. So this is something that I thought of while watching The Big Bang Theory, because I thought to myself that uh, how much fun it would be if we were able to actually act and put up a show like that. So I thought the next best thing would be the interpretive reading, because interpretive reading, if you think, all is interpretive reading. It is reading someone else's text in your own style. So without further ado, uh, who will take what character? There are, once you take the characters, I'll put a bit of I'll let you know the background of each character, but first you need to pick a character. So who will go and pick up Sheldon's character? Anyone? All right,
That's one of the
Toastmaster Manoj Kumar. Beautiful. So Toastmaster Manoj, Sheldon is a genius. He's someone who actually qualified and got his doctorate in his teenagers. But he's terribly eccentric, and he's a constant source of pain and misery to his friends. But he is also the glue that binds them together. So Sheldon, this person is very pretentious, but he doesn't know that he's pretentious. All right, he's a genius, and he can be very cruel without knowing that he's being cruel. So I hope you get the idea. Who will be Howard? All right, Toastmaster Amit. you are Howard. Howard is also a genius in his own right, but he has serious daddy and mommy issues, and he is short in height, so he constantly feels intimidated by everything, by girls, by life, everything. And he is constantly insulted by Sheldon, but Sheldon insults everyone. So uh, that's pretty much part of the course. So, but Howard is this person who's very nice, very talented, but he has serious set of complexes. Oh, sorry, no, that's not Howard. Okay, Howard is an engineer, and he is an engineer who is an outcast among this group of friends because he's only an engineer. All the other friends are PhDs. So he has that complex. And in this show, he is painted as the son of a very conservative and very demanding Jewish mother. So that's what your character is. I will take Leonard's character, he being a permanent user. Who will take Raj? Raj is an Indian expatriate who's among the group of friends, and he's also a genius, but he has his own set of eccentricities, his different culture, his different upbringing is very apparent at times. So, will be Raj. Toastmaster Manish, I think, okay, Toastmaster Manish will be Raj. And I'm sorry, Toastmaster Manish, but as this character, you will have to speak with an Indian English accent because that's how this character speaks. And of course, the natural choice for Penny is our president, Toastmaster Meher.
No, I'm working on my. I haven't written
Oh.
anything for the.
All right. So, okay, do we have another female with us? Okay,
It
never
doesn't
mind.
have
Let's
to
get.
be a female.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. So the Penny is an aspiring actress, and she is not a genius like the other friends. She's a very down to earth girl, and Leonard has a crush on her. So who would like to be Penny here? Oh, that's sad. No one likes to be Penny. That's the coolest character. All right, I'll take the plunge and I'll be Penny. All right. So, okay, let's start. And let's take a minute to go over the dialogues. I'll scroll. So the situation is that they're all sitting at the Cheesecake Factory where they usually have lunch, and they're arguing and debating upon who will have what. And Penny is the waitress there. She's also her friend. She knows them all very well. And she frequently gets irritated by Sheldon and his antics. So that's all the situation. So, Mr. Sheldon, whenever you're ready, we will start.
Okay, do I need to read these dialogues or I have to create my own?
Well, we will all read these dialogues in character, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
All right, everybody, I'm ready. We can start?
Let's get this going.
Oh. All right, I'm moving my infantry division, augmented by a battalion of orcs from Lord of Rings. We flank the Tennessee Volunteers, and the North once again wins the Battle of Gettysburg.
Not so fast. Remember, the South still has 2 infantry divisions, plus Superman and Godzilla.
No, orcs are magic. Superman is vulnerable to magic. Not to mention, you already lost Godzilla to the Indian cavalry and Hulk.
Why don't you just have Robert E. Lee charges the line with Shiva and Ganesh?
Hi, you guys. Ready to order?
Hang on, honey. It's moving. Where is it? Hang on, honey. Shiva and Ganesh? The Hindu gods against the entire Union army?
And arms. I'll be back.
Excuse me, Ganesha is the removal of obstacles and Shiva is destroyer. When the smoke clears, Abraham Lincoln will be speaking Hindi and drinking mint julep.
All right, my boss says you either have to order or leave and never come back.
What do you recommend for someone who worked up a man-sized appetite from morning of weight training and cardio funk?
A shower.
I'll take the heart. I'll take the heart small platter.
All right, thank you. And Sheldon?
Do not eat here. I do not know what's good.
Well, it's all good.
Where are we?
Yeah, just
Statistically
read the
unlikely.
just get a hamburger. You like hamburgers.
I like hamburgers where you usually have hamburgers. You cannot make the assumptions that I like hamburgers here.
I'm sorry, give him a hamburger. Which one? The classic burger, the ranch house burger, the barbecue burger, or the Kobe burger?
Can't we just go to Big Boy? They only have one burger, the Big Boy.
The barbecue burger is like the big boy.
Excuse me, in a world that already includes the Big Boy, why would I settle for something like a Big Boy?
Because you're not at big boy.
Fine, I'll have the barbecue burger.
Make it two.
Waitresses don't yell at you at Big Boy.
Now there's a third female, a second female, who is also a scientist. She also works at the same university as they do. And she is very proud of her work and very dismissive of everyone else. Hey, Leonard. Hi, guys. Hey, Leslie. I didn't know you ate here.
We don't. This is a disturbing aberration.
Leslie, this is Penny. She's sitting across the hall from Sheldon and me.
And walks in quiet beauty like the night.
Howard, I've asked you not to do that. Leslie and I do research together at the university. Oh, wow. Girl scientist. Yep. We stay for range and drive around the physics department string quartet needs a new cellist. What happened with the form? He switched over to high energy radiation research, had a little mishap, and now the other guys are uncomfortable sitting next to him. So, are you in? Sure, why not? Wait, we heard someone is at your place. Quiet place. Yeah, the Department of Energy said I feel this place is kind of a art zone. Nice meeting you. Yeah, you too, Leonard. Didn't know you played the cello. Yeah, my parents felt that naming me Leonard and putting me in advanced placement classes wasn't getting me beaten up enough.
If you're into music, I happen to be a human beatbox.
Really? I'm actually not that into music. Hey, your friend's really cute. Anything going on with you two? Leslie? No. What are you kidding?
Asked her out once. It was an embarrassing failure.
Thank you, Sheldon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that supposed to be a secret?
Oh, that's too bad. You guys would make a cute couple.
Oh dear.
What's the matter?
She didn't take my order.
How can she take your order when you are too neurotic to talk to her?
Nevertheless, this will be reflected in her tip.
All right, everyone. I hope everybody had fun.
I think Meher had the most fun
I did
Yeah.
indeed.
at our expense.
So, well, I think that was fun, and perhaps you know we can do that again in the next meeting. To me, it was quite a bit of fun, and we leave the choice of what script to select to the curator the next time. But I think it's just tremendous fun, and there were some good jokes in there and excellent performances from everyone. Because remember, this was extempore; no one had any advanced preparation for that. So absolutely fantastic. Hats off. Only WordWise could have pulled off this one. Thank you so much. And moving on now to the next segment, which is the recital of our pieces of writing. So over to you, Toastmaster Meher. And
Thank you very
sorry,
much.
Toastmaster Meher, today our internet is really, really bad. So I believe that is the culprit behind the.
Perhaps now my voice better?
Yes,
Yes,
Vinny is much better.
So over to you,
hugely
Tosma.
better. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha. So now we commence the extempore writing segment. And as always, the whole meeting was so interesting and riveting that I was just glued to the screen and I didn't really get to write much. So I'm probably going to be doing a literal extempore recital just now. I would like to ask if anyone would like to go first. Toastmaster Khubaib had to leave because he was asked to run an errand for his mum, and I let him go. What about Toastmaster Munish, Toastmaster Amit?
I can, of course, it would be ad lib for me as well. So I can go ahead still.
Yeah, sure.
But can you just remind me once again the topic?
Sure. So we can have it like the table topics then. I haven't written anything myself.
It was
I
about
was so like.
it was about travel, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How
I'll just
travel
repeat it.
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travel improves the mind, and this is a quote by Oscar Wilde. So as we all know, he was, he was the famous and infamous satirist. Travel improves the mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudices. Travel improves the mind wonderfully and does away with all one's prejudices.
Okay. And how much time do I have?
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes. Okay, fine. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Meher. Very interesting topic. And I think I've been fortunate enough and blessed to have been able to travel to a lot of countries, different continents, of course, within India as well. Not yet to Pakistan, but hopefully someday soon. So, yes, travel has indeed helped me overcome a lot of prejudices. There has been personal travel, there has been work travel as well. So, as far as personal travel is concerned, after my marriage, I took my wife for the immediate holiday that we have after the wedding, of course, to somewhere near my city itself. So she always had this complaint that, Amit, we have not traveled after marriage and all. So we said, okay, fine. When I was starting my business in 2015, before I just started that, I had a short break. So in that, we made a trip, a long trip, or rather a very, 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 very long trip. 40 days, can you believe it? 40 days to US and Europe. Now, I had certain perceptions I had never been to the US before. I had been to Europe for work, but never to the US. So I had certain perceptions about US. So such high-end perceptions that when I was flying from London to New York, I felt that nothing can go wrong in the US. I mean, they are so advanced that nothing can absolutely go wrong. Like the moment we reach there, it will be all flawless. That's the state of development that they have. But would you believe it? The moment I landed, or rather we landed at the New York airport, the sense I got was as if I have come back to Mumbai, India. So that's the first impression of New York I got when I reached. The carousel where we were supposed to get our luggage was in a worse state than I would see in most of the airports in India. The chaos around the airport to get a taxi was reminding me of all that we see here in India. Of course, the stay in the US was pretty good. We went to different parts, West Coast to East Coast, and fortunately we have family, so we could afford to stay longer there. And what I learned there was a few things that were very different from India that I had heard about but not experienced, was the openness and the frankness with which people speak. There's maybe 10% of diplomacy that we see here in India and also maybe in Europe that you would experience. I mean, at least I experienced when I traveled to the US. So I had certain inhibitions, I had certain perceptions about the country, but then a lot of it changed when I actually went there and opened my mind to what that country actually is. Similarly, I had certain other perceptions about different territories, the less developed countries that I visited. I will not name those countries, but I was pleasantly surprised with the progress that the quality of people, the etiquette, the knowledge, the sensibilities of the human beings there was far better than the economic progress they might have made. So we might feel that these countries, maybe a third world countries, they have not really developed, they don't have those high-speed trains or those airports and space vehicles and arsenal and all that. But people, very genuine, very honest, that's the progress they have made. And I will make a comparison of this with my own country, India. And I feel bad about it, but a fact is a fact. I feel we need to learn. We need to learn a lot from these countries, developed as well as developing countries, things about etiquette, cleanliness, hygiene, importance of time. These are the things that we lack in India. And I really would like to see India learn a lot from all those countries, whether it is the developed countries or the developing countries. And travel has really opened my mind and broadened my horizon, and I've learned a lot. So these are my 2 bits. Thank you, TM Meher, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Amit. That was very informative, and I'm so glad that you picked up this topic because I think you were one of the best people to do so, having traveled so widely, and then having also the sensitivity and observation to notice the differences and the culture and having the being able to take away the lessons and have the takeaways. And I would echo your wish and ambition as well, that we do actually need to learn from here also. These other the civic sense, they would say in Pakistan as well, that of cleanliness, making lines, punctuality, all of these things that, as you said, that it's not necessarily the scale of the buildings and the number of roads and the high speed trains or whatever technological progress that may or may not have been, but just the fact that if you stop at a roadside inn in Turkey, for example, every roadside inn over there is clean, spick and span. They'll have Indian style washrooms, but they will be so clean. And there's a saying in Turkey as well that if you give a Turkish person 2 cents or something like that, a modicum amount of money, and either that person can either spend it on some food or cleanliness items, they will spend it on the cleanliness items. So they're so committed to cleanliness, which was something that, yes, I was really impressed by that as well. Thank you so very much. I believe we have lost Toastmaster Munish, but if anyone else would like to jump in, that would be great. I would be most Gigi. Distinguished Toastmaster Talha, yes, please, I hand over the stage to you.
Thank you so much. So let me bring up my notes. All right. And let me put on the timing, which is 3 to 4. All right. What is common between Prophet Muhammad, Buddha, Moses, Frodo Baggins, Luke Skywalker, and yours truly? Travel. All of these individuals traveled, and travel changed their life. Travel always changes their life. No matter which piece of history you pick up Hindu mythology or Islamic history, or search through the annals of history of any religion or any culture, you will always find travel. Let's change gears a bit though. What are we in our lives? How do we treat the people around us or the planet we live on? We are so uncomfortable all the time. We are so immune. We are so exposed to everything this planet has to offer. We don't like its heat. We don't like its cold. We shelter ourselves from its light. We need to clothe ourselves, and even our food has to be processed and cooked. Have you ever seen a cat wear a fur coat in winter? It doesn't need it. The humans do. And why is that? Because we are so addicted to being comfortable that we want to be comfortable 24/7. We cannot tolerate the slightest discomfort, the slightest disturbance in our state of being. And what travel does is break us away from that and take us somewhere else. No matter how you travel, it takes you away from your home. It takes you away from your comforts. It subjects you to real life. And that's what makes you learn about yourself. It exposes you to different people of a different race, people of a different religion, people speaking a different language. And you find that when you travel, you are exposed and you are at the mercy of those people. And that's when you start to realize that we're all human beings. And our attitudes, our treatment of other humans are not subservient to borders or race or skin color. In fact, all these things are so trivial compared to what is right here in the heart of every human being. In an airplane, you pass through the visa process and the insecurity of flying miles above the earth. Don't deny that you always have that in the back of your mind. In a train, you meet strange people and you see a new city at every station and you get different things to eat. And what's more, your fellow passengers, they're all coming from different places and at different places in their lives. Even in your car, on your daily commute, you're exposed to traffic laws and that worst species from the ninth circle of hell, other drivers. But you know what? You are someone else's other driver as well. And when you're on the road, you're not an executive. You're not an educated person. You're just another car. You are just traffic. Imagine that. Another form of travel is fiction that we talked about today. Fiction takes you away from reality, and I believe that's the biggest value addition that it can provide. It makes you uncomfortable. It challenges your assumptions. All in all, history's greatest achievements have come from travel, whether physical or right here. Over to you, Toastmaster Mehathan.
Wow, wow, wow. That was simply amazing. What an amazing introduction, and what a strong conclusion, something that I think we will take back with us after the meeting, that truly, yes, I love how you made the connection with the topic and the theme of the day as well. Travel and fiction, truly fiction is the travel of the mind, and as we have a universe outside of us to explore, there's also the universe within us to explore as well. And how beautiful it is that we are able to do both in this world, physically and mentally, cognitively, spiritually, so many different kinds of travel available to us. And truly, there it is an experience that the whole process of it really expands our minds and through the experience itself. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I cannot believe that you delivered that extempore. I mean, that was just very well organized. So,
It was not exactly a extempore. I was taking notes and I was writing bits and pieces of it throughout the meeting. So no, it was not extempore. Don't give me that credit.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that tip, and I will try to employ that in our next meeting. I did promise us that we would end the meeting on time, so I will just go through my piece very quickly. Over to me. My hands were shaking as I. Oh, sorry. Are we starting the timing? Okay.
Let's give me a second. And perhaps Toastmaster Amit wanted to say something.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
No, very quickly, today I was attending one session and there somebody mentioned the difference between extempore and ad lib. I don't know whether everybody is familiar. If everybody is, then I will not.
No, please share.
Be good.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So, and this was a learning for me. So ad lib is where we know what we are going to talk about, but we haven't really written the script down or prepared. Okay. And extempore is where we have no idea what topic we are going to be speaking on, and we are given the topic and we start speaking. So that's the difference. So I guess that is why DTM Talha said it was not extempore, it was perhaps ad lib, because he was aware what he's going to speak of, but he has not written the script. Sorry, and back to you, Meher.
Nice. No, thank
your
you.
ad lib speech.
My ad lib speech. Yes. Although it will be slightly extempore because I just had an idea. Anyway, yes, it's a bit of both. So
go ahead.
Thank you. My hands were shaking as I hugged my father at the train station and saw him take his seat as I touched the window and waved at him, seeing the carriage pull away from me, slowly, slowly, then picking up pace like my heartbeat, his eldest progeny, his sheltered little girl, leaving me alone in a land far, far away. And there I was, alone on the platform in London, miles, miles away from my home city of Rawalpindi, here to study, here to fulfill a lifelong dream that my parents had somehow put together for me and allowed me to travel away from home. And although they had the reservations, but overcoming all of their fears and helping me overcome mine, they said, "Go ahead, beta, do what you need to do, find yourself." As I walked back to my studio apartment, I wondered, how would I carry on in the days forthcoming? I would have to cook for myself, clean for myself, and find my own friends, do my own groceries, keep myself company. Probably that was the thing that I would miss the most. Walking to university the next day, I picked up the map of the tube station, and I simply loved drawing finger lines over all the different kinds of pathways that I could make from my apartment to all the different tourist spots while I was there. And all just simply on the freedom of the tube station card, that I could go anywhere in London on a simple subway station, from one subway station to the next. It was really exciting for me. The first day that I went, I actually forgot my way. But thankfully, the owner of the Libyan restaurant, whom we had visited the day before with my father, she recognized me on the station, how the universe sends people to help you. And she guided me and she told me which station to stop at, which connecting train to take, and I was on my way. My first day at the university, in the class, I was greeted with a very diverse group of students. It was a part-time evening class, and we were a bunch of professionals there to make our lives better and to make others' lives better by improving ourselves. There were people with backgrounds from Asia, from Europe, and of course, native English-speaking population from the United Kingdom. It was supposed to be a writing class. And once I sat down, I kicked myself mentally in the head. Who in the world told me to take a writing class with native English speakers? Which spider had bitten me to convince me to do this to myself? I was going to embarrass myself and fall face flat first in the class on the very first day. And it almost happened because the way our teacher began that session was to give us a topic, just like in WordWise. And he said, okay, guys, dive into the deep end. I was like, no way is this happening to me. My worst nightmare coming true. And he had given us a sentence which had to be used in that excerpt. I thought and I thought hard. And I thought back to a small fight I'd had with my friend before coming here, something that had stayed with me on the plane flight, something that was hurting me. And somehow I managed to incorporate that and shared it with the rest of the class. There were literal gasps from everybody because I had been dressed in my cultural dress, perhaps. But later on, people came up to me and said, where are you from? And when I told them Pakistan, they couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe that they couldn't believe it. Because when they had first introduced themselves to me, male or female, they had reached out and shaken my hand, and I had not held back, and I had been friendly. But the biggest shock to me was that they were shocked that my English was fairly good. And the fact that I was a girl traveling alone in London. And your parents allowed that? I said, well, yeah, I mean, it took some persuasion, but yeah, I'm here. And then they would ask me so many questions about life here and whether I was allowed to go out, what I was allowed to do. And it was such a wonderful exchange. And on one of the days, on my professor's birthday, we even went to the pub, which we do not have here at all in Pakistan. So anyway, I had a glass of water while everybody else celebrated, but it was such a warm and friendly time for all of us to get to know each other and to break all the prejudices that perhaps had been set between us by the media. And although, yes, we are chaperoned here in Pakistan a lot more than I was in the United Kingdom, and I could walk on the streets till 10 p.m. at night, and it was safe, and I felt safe, and there was no curfew for me. But I felt free as a person, and I felt we can do the same here in Pakistan as well. If we spread awareness and we change attitudes and we make safer neighborhoods for all of us here, there is nothing holding us back. It's all in the mind. So thank you so much for listening to me, even though I went over time. All right. So we now come to the general evaluation session. Who is going to be doing that? I'm not aware because by the time we launched the agenda, I was still up in the air.
I think I can. You can continue if
Sure,
you wish, or
sure.
I can. Up to you.
I can take some stuff off your head. Right. So for general evaluation, I would like to thank you very much for launching the vote as well. Right. So while we are voting, I would like to thank all the participants and all the guests who have arrived. Toastmaster Tarachan, Toastmaster Marutesh was here, but I think he's left. And of course, we did face technical problems at the start. Somehow, DJ and Talha also faced it, I also faced it. So but what I learned from previous meetings was to have some kind of alternative handy. So I did have my mobile handy there. So that was one way that I overcame that problem. And we can try and keep an extra device or an alternative device in case we have any audio issue. I can totally understand though, because we would be having these electricity cuts from time to time, and internet connectivity issues can present themselves to us. But I would like to thank the participants, the formal participants, Toastmaster Amit and Toastmaster Shafan, for being there on time, and to distinguished Toastmaster Tala for starting the meeting, to opening the meeting room on time, and we were just simply trying to wait for more members to show up. And of course, January is a bit of a busy month for me, but I will be I will be going into my intensive mode after a couple of weeks, where I'll be going after the member and say, hello, which role would you like to take up, and just try to help out a little bit there. So sorry, I've not been able to help out as much for this meeting. But yes, we can all come together and just ping each other and ask what we're doing. And perhaps, directing the Fireflies approach might help us in getting more members together before the meeting, show them the light, as we would say. Other than that, I think that we had such a wonderful, brilliant meeting. I really enjoyed, that with the new year, our VP Education introduced this new segment of interpretive reading from a script, and I'm so looking forward to the next meeting, because although today I was a bit preoccupied as well, but I would love to participate. I mean, the actors in us, they're just this वो खलबली मच रही थी ना अंदर के हाँ we should all participate together and create this drama. Oh, we could have props, we could have backgrounds, virtual backgrounds. I see the vision there. I am seeing where you're going with this, Yutiam Tala. So great idea there. And other than that, thanks to Toastmaster Asghar for joining in. As soon as I messaged him, he said, yeah, I can join, although he is traveling. He has literally traveled today all the way to his hometown near Gwadar in Balochistan. But thank you for joining in despite your connectivity issue there. And a huge thanks to Toastmaster Shafan for agreeing to join in the meeting, although I only reached out to him a couple of days ago, but he had the presentation ready, and he knew what he wanted to say, and he was so excited, and that excitement was so contagious for the rest of us. I'm so sorry that he somehow, in his mind, he was sharing the presentation with us, but somehow we didn't get to see it. But I will be sharing it on the group because he has allowed me to do so as a PDF, and we can have a look at it later for a takeaway and action items. And now I would like to call upon Toastmaster Asghar to give us a formal evaluation of Toastmaster Amit's wonderfully brilliant speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Asghar.
Oh, thank you very much. I thought you almost forgot to call us, but I think, and then thank you very much for remembering me. Going to the evaluation, I'm sorry for my current situation. Toastmaster Amit, if you are there, let me tell you that I said it is difficult to inspire me. I didn't say that it is impossible. So here is the confession. I'm inspired by your speech. Listening, heart vis-a-vis head. I like the theme, the central idea of your speech, explaining dilemma in two different occasions and then taking two different directions. The way you structured your speech in a storytelling manner, a story coming from your everyday experience of your life. Secondly, it was relatable for almost all of us. At least I, like you, faced dilemma. But in both cases, I chose my heart, my head or my heart. after your speech, I now have come to know that why I am in the current sorry state of fear and stuck with my job. But I will take the takeaway of your speech with me. My heart is still dragging with me. In fact, I'm dragging with me. My head and my heart is still dragging with me to follow her. I'm still refusing. But today, after listening your speech, I decided to be otherwise. Secondly, the vocabulary, the expression that you use, I really like this amazing speech, what Meher called, and the great rendition to refer the Manoj's comments about your speech. What I would like to say is the pace of your speaking was slower than usual because I have been listening you for a long time now. And I, secondly, Toastmaster Amit, I usually find you speaking in a sitting position rather than the standing position. Conventionally, speakers always speak in a standing position. Please send me an individual message to explain it. I eager to know about it. Other than that, what can I say about this great speech? Facing a dilemma, taking your heart rather than your head, going against your mother-in-law, a little bit pace of the speaking and a standing position would have made this speech greater than it is now. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, and I'm sorry for my position.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Asghar. I always love your deadpan humor. It's always a treat to listen to you. Thank you for your suggestions, and thank you for joining in. If I could offer my 2 cents, that Toastmaster Amit's speech could not have come at a better time, I believe, for me as well, because I'm also in the process of applying abroad for studies. And I kid you not, I was actually thinking about this today, of whether I should go, not go, whether I should just apply here or whether I should delay it or postpone it. But I feel like you have somehow answered that question for me. You know, you have been there. I was feeling a bit lost, and like that Libyan lady who guided me at the subway station, I feel like you guided me today, and I'm going to follow my heart, and then I'm going to ask my head how to follow the heart. Thank you for that. I'm not saying it just for the sake of making a great general evaluator speech. All right. I think that's all we have for today. It's already 9:30.
Language evaluator.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Over to Toastmaster Amit. Without further ado, and I'm so apologetic for not being able to use the word trite, except that I hope that my story was not trite, but unique.
Definitely not. Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. And there was fantastic usage of language today, but what I liked even better was the empathy that we all showed towards the word of the day, which is trite. One of the meanings of the word is dull on account of overuse. And I think we saved the word any risk of overuse. And somehow nobody used the word trite. So I think that says something about me as well. I should have thought of some better word, but it's hard. But otherwise, the language usage was fantastic. Let me begin with our keynote speaker. And I got like 2 or 3 pages, but I think I'll pick and choose a few things from what I have noted down. Yeah, so I like this quote that he said, "No reality is whole truth, and no fiction is whole lie." That was fantastic usage. Then he again said, fiction about fiction. There is a fiction about fiction. It took me like 5 to 7 seconds to decipher this, what he was saying. Then he created some bit of imagery, vivid imagery, by saying, increase the observation canvas. That was fantastic usage. And some metaphors like read people, dead honest, when no oxygen in the word, some exaggeration he used. Yeah, so these were some of the very amazing usage of words by our keynote speaker. Then coming to DTM Talha, he also had some very good language usage, of course, to begin with from his ad-lib speech. The another form of travel is fiction. Such a wild, imaginative sentence. Another form of travel is fiction. You are someone else's driver. Annals of history. Then some very good words used were hideous. Glossophobia we all know, but then it's a good word to use. Lament instead of complain. Mercilessly segregated. So there was a display of emotion in the expression that was used, mercilessly segregated. And I like this phrase, I will go out on a limb and request. I go out on a limb and request. I think that's what he said to Toastmaster, our keynote speaker, Toastmaster Shafan, for the next keynote speech. If I'm using it correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong there. Manoj also used some good words like dearth of ideas. He messaged in the chat, which also T.M. Askar used, rendition. Book is a reflection of the society. Wonderful usage. Not a voluminous book, encompassed. And now coming to Meher, again, beautiful language used. Kicked myself in the head. Dive into the deep end. Deadpan humor. Culture clash. And encouraging us to share our experiences about travel, be the Vasco da Gama or the Marco Polo. So a good comparison which kind of inspires us to go out and explore and dig the experiences out and share with you all. So very good usage of these words. And when she also said, the more we read, the better we write. This is something that I really need to work on. I would have loved to share my experience about reading a book, but I don't think I read a single book in 2023 and I'm not proud of it. But hopefully 2024 would be different. Meeting was riveting, modicum, eldest progeny, drawing finger lines. So yeah, all of this very, very good usage. It was a treat to listen to you all. I'm sure there is a lot more, but I'm not reading anymore. That's all from me. Over to you, Toastmaster Meher.
Beautiful, beautiful segment that you have conducted it very well. I could see that you felt every word, you were feeling every word, and I felt it with you. Thank you so much for sharing that and showing us the highlights. You know, it was like a highlight reel of the meeting at the end, so befitting. I would like to hear from some of our distinguished guests today, and thank you for being patient and staying with us. Toastmaster Manoj, it's such a pleasure to see you here. I think the first time I saw you was at BKCFF, and we had a bit of a competition, bit of friction in the table topic segment. But I loved your speech. I was blown away by your thought process, and it's so wonderful to have you here. Your thoughts, please.
It was nice, a meeting with difference, and I could soak in all their differences. Because usual Toastmasters meeting, the way we go through. when something different happens, you feel happy. So today it was a different experience altogether, and I feel happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are happy to have you. We have a special guest from Australia. If you would like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Oh, I know it is late. You know, when I was in Sydney a few months back, the meeting, I'm pretty sure it's almost 2 a.m. there, if I'm not wrong. So I used to attend the meetings from 12 to 2 a.m. It's 3:40, yeah. I mean, hats off to you for joining us. We're so privileged. I feel so honored. But if you would like to share anything in the chat box, I would be more than happy. Hello, it's good to see you. Yeah, if you'd like to put anything in the chat box, that would be wonderful. Because my niece used to be asleep, and I used to be so scared that I had to give the closing remarks, but I had to. So anyway, thank you. It's true, yes. It is a pity, but we are thinking of changing the timings. We will notify our guests, and we will let you know. Perhaps it would be more conducive for you. We might be going to the morning time. Toastmaster Augustine, is this the first time I'm seeing you here?
Yes, Meher, this is Augustine. Nice to see you. And your khatak English. It's so nice.
Thank you for that. And it's wonderful to have you here. First time. So many firsts today, right? In the new year. I hope we'll see you.
Sunday, 6 o'clock is my church. I tried my level best to leave as early as possible, but I could not. And my apologies and regrets. I have attended in bits and pieces, but yet whatsoever I was attended, that was an joyful, and I'm also blown away.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. And I have my team to thank, distinguished Toastmaster Talha and Toastmaster Amit and all of our guests who have made this meeting so special. And the format, of course, I must mention here for our guests that this format was actually conjured up by distinguished Toastmaster Talha. He is the founder of WordWise Toastmasters, and I am just a caretaker. I am the the president who gets things started. But this club is going to go places, I know, in the future, and I'm glad that. Excuse me. I'm glad we got the chance to showcase what we can do, our potential, and with time, I think with the timing change, we might be welcoming more members. It might be more conducive to them, and we would love to see people from all over the world. The more the merrier. So that's all I have to say for now. If anyone else would like to add something very quickly, and then we can wind up.
Thank you so much. I'd like to float a poll for the best major role player. Unfortunately, there were only 2 major role players. I would also like to announce that the best speaker today goes to Toastmaster Amit. And before Toastmaster Amit of all, or anyone else says that it was by default, no, it was not by default, because you have to actually qualify timing-wise in order to win that award. So congratulations. Amazing that you could step up, and thank you sincerely for providing us with that bit of insight. I think you changed many lives today through that speech. And two of the changed lives we heard live on the spot. And of course, Toastmaster Asghar, on your excellent evaluation. Somehow it makes me so inspired that you are there in your hometown. I love the whole of Balochistan, and Quetta being my hometown. So it's amazing that you could join us from your hometown of Jivni near Gwadar. It is just about the remotest place you can imagine. It's the very southwest of the entire country of Pakistan. And not only you joined, but you delivered a stupendous evaluation. So you win Best Evaluator, and you managed to finish with few seconds to spare. So yes, you win the Best Evaluator. And the one disappointment was that we were expecting more of a discourse about you and your mother-in-law, which did not take place today. But perhaps in a future meeting or future speech, we get to hear more. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, Madam President. And yes, Best Major Role Player today is won by our Journal Evaluator, Toastmaster Mehethanvi. So congratulations. And
Oh,
the best word myth by just one vote is won by myself. So yeah, over to you.
wonderful, wonderful. That vote would be mine. I should have considered. I'm joking, but no, I did vote for you. Thank you. It's been lovely, lovely, wonderful way to start the new year. And I will see you all in the next 2 weeks with more exciting keynotes and performances and speeches. See you in the next 2 weeks. Have a great, great week ahead.
Thank you so much, everyone. And the guests who have joined us today, we are honored to have you consider becoming a part of WordWise. We'd love that. And with that, goodbye, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Bye, everyone.